Today on ReCollection, we're playing Bad Dudes versus Dragonninja. ReCollection, the series where we go back in time and rebuild my game collection one game at a time. This time we're focusing on Bad Dudes, a completely mediocre port of a mediocre arcade game. This is just it sure is a game, the game. Bad Dudes versus Dragonninja, the official name of this here title, and we're going to leap right in. This is a side-scrolling belt scroller, the arcade version by Data East. Oh, look, we can choose between two generic buff dudes, Blade and Striker. Is there a difference between them? No, there is not. So I don't know, we go with Blade or Striker. What do you guys think? First one in the chat to answer, that's who we're going to be. Blade or Striker. Somebody let me know. Blade. All right. Yep. Bonus was first. We are Blade. So right here, despite the mediocrity of this game, obviously it's famous for this meme. Are you a bad enough dude to rescue Ronnie, etc. But the plot right here, the president has been kidnapped by ninjas. Does any video game really need more than that? I understand we can say beautiful things about, KOTOR, etc., but does any game need more than the president has been kidnapped by ninjas? I say no. Now, right here, this is what you get with Bad Dude. First off, it's a really janky port, even for an NES game. This is just kind of a messy, ugly game. The NES is capable of very smooth graphics, but this one kind of just, look at it. It's just very choppy. The first thing we want to do is grab this clock here. I am already playing badly. You see, you have two planes that we can play on, high and low, and it's very much in that regard kind of like Shinobi or Rolling Thunder, except less good. There's also fewer enemies on the screen. The arcade game absolutely swarms with ninjas, but this one, oh, and I died right there. So we're not going to go on with this game this way. I just want to explain a couple of things, and then I'm actually going to reset and show it off. You do have some abilities in this one that are handy. You can clear one side of the screen by doing a charge punch. Now, I'm sitting here getting pummeled from both sides, but if I hold down the attack button, that'll knock everybody on one side of the screen down. Did you notice that? I'm going to try this again. Let's get a couple of guys lined up on the same side of the screen. And this seems cumbersome. Oh, and also the charge gets uncharged if you get hit. Don't worry, we're not going to play the whole game this way. See, those two guys went down right there from that? Also, unlicensed Coca-Cola. The other thing you can do is kind of a cool swirly jump kick up in the air. It's kind of a spinny kick, which can be useful in certain situations. Ninjas take either one or two hits to take down, depending on their toughness. Now we're going to reset right here so we can actually play the game from the beginning without having lost those lives, and hopefully so that we can also enter the cheat code correctly and get more lives so we can see the end of this. Let's see if I pull it off. While we're entering cheat codes, oh, somebody said something. Thanks, Bofus. I appreciate that. Yeah, the stream is locked to 1080 in the settings for you, Kebabs. Is that bad? Do you need more resolution? Because I think that's the most I can throw up there. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, let's see. I am not right now publishing any writing with my name on it, Ninja. Thank you for asking. However, I have been working on something, and you might see something more. It'll have to do with kind of my more own private interests, but that's for a little later. All right. So according to ye old IGN, if I want to cheat, I use the player 2 controller and I hit at the title screen BA down up on controller 2 and then start on controller 1. I have just done this. Let's see what happens. All right, there we are. We got once again the incredible riveting plot. Let's see if IGN was right or if I entered the code correctly. It seems like a fairly easy code to get right, so we'll find out. Pop in here and then we'll actually play the game. If not, are you a bad enough dude to rescue the president? Are you? I don't know. I think I'm probably not. Well, the code didn't work, so we're just going to play anyway. And this time, we're going to go through and actually try to win. So, how do you beat bad dudes? Well, it's mainly a matter of not getting hit from both sides at the same time. You see these gray ninjas, they take 2 hits, and they, just like the red ninjas do, and they hurl projectiles at you. But if you punch the projectiles or leap over them, you can avoid the damage from them. And that's really the key to this game, is that it looks like something you should rush through, but you actually want to be patient and kill everybody. It's more of a reflex exercise. I like that the truck says dudes on it. I like to think that it's the Dude Trucking Company. That would be, unlicensed Coke, drink the Coke, get life. Isn't it weird how in video games food equals life? Where do you think that comes from? So this guy got a sword. He's trying to take me down, and we're going to use a charge hit on her. Oh, well, we thought we were, but we screwed up. So the charge hit's the best way to take a lot of the tougher dudes down. But I'm not timing it right. Oh, I walked through that caltrip, and we managed to block that punch. We can actually... Oh, see, we're already at the end of the first stage. Can you believe that? All right, take this guy down. And look, it's Karnov. So those of you familiar with Data East may know the game Karnov. Karnov is kind of one of the mascot characters for Data East, which used to be a popular arcade developer. And for some reason, they made him the boss of the first stage of Bad Dudes as well. Now, Karnov is actually a good guy in their other games, but here he's fighting the bad dudes. Maybe the Dragonninja are the true good guys, and I'm the bad guy. I'm not sure. So let's talk about the jankiness of this game for a minute. Once again, you've seen much... Oh, there's that voice sample. I'm bad right there. Most of you have seen better-looking games on the NES, but the fact of the matter was that there was a fair amount of stuff that was just kind of shoveled out good enough on the NES. I mean, it wasn't the easiest piece of hardware to work with. Let's talk a little bit about its limitations and just give you an idea of how miraculous... Oh, I missed my chance. No, I got him to come back. Oh, now, okay, it's over. Now I have the nunchucks. So the nunchucks do twice the damage. They do as much damage as like a power punch does, but they increase your reach. And when you're worried about getting run over by ninjas, that is a tremendous advantage. So let's talk about the limitations of the NES here for a second and why it was so difficult to make games for it. The NES was way more powerful than the systems that came before it, like the Atari 2600, things like that. But it was still restricted in some pretty severe ways. It was designed for release in Japan in 1983, even though it didn't come out over here to the end of 85 and didn't really become widely distributed until the end of 86. So there's the knife there, but we want to keep the nunchucks. They're better. They have more reach. Because it was designed and released in 83, it was designed around a time when RAM was more expensive than it would later be. And what that meant was that you had a very limited amount of memory to work with in the NES. By the time it came out, the RAM was cheaper, but at the time it was being considered and designed, it was still something you had to be a little careful around. Therefore, the NES inside actually only has 2K of basic RAM. That's 2 kilobytes, 2 1,000ths of a meg, 2 1,000,000ths of a gig of RAM. And then, to be generous, they also gave you another 2K of video RAM that could specifically be used to draw the display. That means that what you see happening in an NES game using its basic capabilities is happening in about 4K of memory, about 4K of RAM. It's an almost unthinkable limitation by modern considerations. On top of that, you couldn't even access all that RAM all that efficiently sometimes for drawing the screen. The NES was what's called a tile-based system. And what that meant was that a lot of what's being drawn on the screen is being done in 8x8 tiles. The NES thinks in terms of tiles. You see, that's why everything has kind of a sharp edge, like the front of the truck there with the wheel. It's because those are drawn in tiles. Now, it can also handle sprites, which are more complicated drawings with different shapes. But it can handle sprites only a limited number at a time and only a limited number on a horizontal line. You might notice when the ninjas come running at me from both sides that they get kind of, you see that they're ghosting. That's because the NES could only show so many things on a horizontal line at once. Now, those were the base limitations. Really clever programmers would get around that in a lot of ways, and hardware engineers would get around it. And they each did that in different ways. First, let's talk about the clever programmers. Clever programmers figured out ways to sometimes flip things on and off or trick the system into thinking it was doing one thing when it was in fact doing another, and expanding it beyond the vision of the original hardware designer and developer. So you could sit there and go, okay, look, I can only have 3 colors on a sprite on an NES. But if I layer 2 sprites on top of each other in a very clever way, I can have 4 colored sprites or more. Just like I did, like you'll see if you play the American version of Super Mario 2, you'll notice that those characters have multiple colors on their sprites. That's because they are actually multiple sprites layered on top of each other in a very clever way. But that's, oh, I died, and I shouldn't have died there. I'm dying way too early for Bad Dudes. If we're going to beat it. I got the knife. The knife's not bad. It's just not as good as the nunchucks. I may get nunchucks again this level. For a second here, I'm going to commit the video game streaming sin and pause so I can read your comments. All right, looking here for a second. Yeah, NES was 4K before it was cool. That's right. Oh, somebody's asking, let's see. I remember a video game 20 questions about this game. Is this one I couldn't get? I don't know. As for the philosophical question about can ninjas be dudes, I'm going to put that one to the chat. Chat, decide. My thoughts are that ninjas can in fact be dudes, or indeed dudettes, or anyone they want to be. I also feel like I am a bad dude. And Corey, thank you so much for the kind comment there. Everybody pop in here. Can ninjas in fact be dudes? Let's find out. I hope this lecture on Nintendo technical development isn't too dull. Someone tell me if it is. Is anyone left in the chat? I should check. There are like 10 people left, so I'm pretty sure I've driven everyone away already rambling about the NES. But we're going to go on because the even more interesting thing about the Nintendo is the fact that in addition to doing clever tricks with software like sprite layering, you could expand the hardware through the cartridge. And that's something we don't have today in this day and age of optical media or downloads where upgrades come through software or media is in a locked and static position. Cartridges let you do things like, say, slip extra RAM into the cartridge or slip extra memory mapping capability, in the case of the NES, into the cartridge. Memory maps were a way that, to use memory more efficiently. Without going into a technical treatise, they allowed you to have more control over how you use the limited memory available to you. And sometimes when combined with extra RAM that came with some games, you could do some really clever and interesting things and go beyond the capabilities the NES was designed for. Ah, yes, Duplicator Dude. We shall batter dude. Okay, I called him a dude, so I guess ninjas can in fact be dude. Okay, I gotta walk over here. Wait, no. See, now this guy, if I land this, I'll take all his. But yeah, see, there's the super punch right there. Hit everybody on the same line with one punch. It's great. Now this guy comes up. We stab him for a while. I mean, this is not the most riveting of video games, I realize, but I think it's a good way. So all that said, why does this game look like crap? Well, because the developers were not especially interested in harnessing the hardware and software expansion capabilities of the NES. Now, I'm pretty sure this one is probably using not just a base mapper, because some of the things that are happening here would still be really hard for the NES to do just on its own with base stuff. But as the years passed, cartridges came out with different memory mappers that allow the NES to expand, and that's why later NES games, that's one of the reasons why they look so much better than early NES games. Notice the ninjas drop to different lines. Again, I think that's largely programming to keep the ninjas from flickering the way they often do. Hey, Gibby says, yep, I'm a ninja and a dude. Those pause ninjas don't look like dudes, somebody says. Oh, somebody's asking, hey, Jared, hi. I'm pausing for a second. I'm a Jenny. Excellent. 22 is my favorite number. 28 missed out. That's why I cherish my NES Classic. Excellent. All right, folks. So what do you want to know about bad dudes? Not that I'm a super duper expert on the subject, but perhaps I can bring some illumination to the bad dudes discussion here. What do you want to know about what's going on with this here game? All right, let's see. Curse you, ninjas. So we're going to move along here. There's a dog. I always try to avoid stabbing the dogs if I can, because, I mean, who wants to fight that? Oh, look, there's a dudette. There's a lady ninja. Let's see. Oh, Fire Guy. Why is he Fire Guy? Who knows? That's a Fire Guy's a thing. There's a Fire Guy in Ninja Turtles for the NES too. I think there was a time that like fiery guys were just a thing in old video games. But I mean, this is it. This is bad dudes. This is what happens when you port an arcade game that's designed to just kind of eat your quarters on continues to a home console. And there were just a jillion of these. Now here's a very awkward scrolling effect. The NES can scroll so much more effectively than this. You may have watched a stream I did earlier on Contra. If you haven't, it's available on VOD. You could watch it on my YouTube channel at hopflipandajump.com. But if you watch Contra, there's these incredibly smooth, beautiful scrolling techniques going on vertically and horizontally in Contra. The NES can do way more in more capable hands than you're seeing here. And that's why I think this game is kind of a testimony to crappiness in the NES without being complete junk, because there are NES games that are just fundamentally broken. And Bad Dudes isn't fundamentally broken. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It has that kind of music. It's not good, but it's also not completely painful. I'm just getting run through here. Oh, we're gonna walk. Oh wait, we gotta fight this guy. All right, I'm gonna get killed here in a second. I wonder if I should let myself take a hit, because I'm gonna lose my nunchucks when I die. I didn't let myself take the hit, so I guess I'm just moving on. I'm bad. How bad are the dude? The question: how bad are the dude? The dude are 7.9 bad out of 10. The dude are, in fact, bad. You know, I am going to let myself die here. All right, we're going to go get that knife now. Some more life. There we go. So that was an intentional death to power up. Because the knife's not as good as the nunchucks, but I was about to die, and I didn't think I was going to make it to the next Coke can. So, I mean, but this is it. Here we go. Kill things to the right, kill things to the left. Didn't y'all ever play Kung Fu, or Kung Fu Heroes, sometimes called? The IREM game that was also ported to NES. It's originally based on Spartan X, a Jackie Chan movie. Oh, this guy. So this guy does the NES spinny boss attack. He's going to do a spinny thing here if I get in the right spot. But I hope... Yep, there he goes. He defies gravity in some very clever ways. Now, I lost my knife against this dude, which sucks. Because he's a pain. And I'm probably going to die here, because I got on the wrong side of him. Yep, you do not want to get on that side of that guy. You need this to have a chance against him. But actually, I really am missing the knife, because you want that reach on him. I'm going to hit him with power punches over and over until he dies. Ugh, if he even touches you. There we go. You just want to keep that distance. I am playing. No, yeah, you're probably used to hearing. Oh, wow, I almost leapt into death there. You see, each one of these power punches just taking him down a little bit. This dude's actually pretty hard to hurt. And I just leaped into that. And then I walked into that. All right, you know what? We're being too cautious. Let's just kill this guy. There we go. He's dead. All right, did the high score in NES games matter, or is that a remnant of arcade games? Asked Alex. It really didn't matter in most games. The high score, the score going on at the bottom of the screen, contemporaneously at least, speaking for me and my friends, we couldn't have cared less about score. There were some games where score granted you an extra life. Again, kind of a remnant from arcades. And in those games it was important, but very, very few NES games leaned into that design. It was just vestigial to the arcade. Indeed, I first experienced Super Mario Brothers as an arcade game on a Nintendo hardware cabinet, like in a Chuck E. Cheese. And so the score seemed to make sense, but then once I got it at home, I was like, I don't get this. Nobody pays attention to their high score. If you read some of the old strategy guide books, you'll still find that vestigial thinking. Like Jeff Roven's books often point out the score. Really, the only game score mattered in for NES games were the ones where you got life from them, or games that were score attack style, where you had like no special ending, or you were doing a shooter and you were just trying to become perfect at it. Instead, this was the beginning of thinking about beating the game. This is really where that idea became a mainstream video game idea, because most arcade games were made to be played roughly forever or to never be finished, one of the two, up to this point anyway. And RPGs certainly had endings, but they were not a mass market kind of game. They were popular computers, and I actually played a lot of them around this period, but they were not the go-to games that you thought about for the home video game market. I'm going to pause for a second here, because I want to see that a question somebody also asked about. Oh, somebody's waving. Hi, Kebabs. Thank you for waving. Somebody's asking about Kung Fu. A friend had it in 1980. I was lucky to get born at 80, lucky to get 2 or 3 NES games a year. What were the games she had? Did you guys have an NES? How many of y'all have owned one? I'm really curious. Again, fortunately, we had much better games than this to play most of the time. But I had this game as a kid, and weirdly, I did play a lot of it. I think it was just the fact that you could kind of sit down and pummel at it for a while. Now, the arcade version of Bad Dudes made more sense. It was a quarter muncher. It had more enemies. It was also, much more importantly, two-player simultaneous. There are some great two-player simultaneous games on NES. This game, despite having two characters on the menu and being based on a two-player simultaneous arcade game, does not support two simultaneous players on NES, and that's kind of a shame. You think about something, the best two-player games on NES, with a few exceptions, are easy. Battletoads kind of stinks because it's too hard with two people. It's great with one, but it stinks as a two-player game. But something like Double Dragon 2, which is in most ways not an especially difficult game, absolutely rocks on the NES because it's easy. River City Ransom, while no cakewalk, is relatively easy, especially once you start powering up, and therefore it's a lot of fun with two people. And this game would have been perfect, I think, with two people and suddenly become a lot more fun to play. It wouldn't have been knee deeper, but you and your buddy could have gone through arcade style and just pummeled some enemies. I needed that Coke so bad. I've taken a lot of hits this game, but I'm rusty on it. You notice the scrolling background. Again, no parallax scrolling. The NES could not natively do parallax scrolling, although with extra chips, like we talked about earlier, stuck in on carts, there were games that pulled off parallax scrolling, and it's a very impressive effect. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, I missed the easiest jump in the world, and now I'm in danger. See, here's what I'm worried about. I've only got 2 life left. Well, let's make that 1 life left. I have the nunchucks, and I'm about to the end of the level, and if I continue, I don't remember if I have to go all the way back to the beginning of the level or not. I really wanted to get to the end of the train, at least on this life. But unfortunately, there will be some cheesy boss waiting here at the end. Oh, look, a cheesy boss. Oh, and down I went, and lost 1 of my lives. Before we continue, I'm going to read a couple messages here from the chat. I still have my NES. Got it in '87 when I was 6 years old. This from Blasted. It was a gift from my parents for when I got my tonsils removed. My NES broke in 2009, but I was able to get it repaired and it still works. They were durable. There wasn't a lot to break on them except that panel where the cartridge plugs in. So you really can repair them if a chip goes bad. It's not a lot hard to fix them most of the times. Some of the first few games I got were Super Mario Brothers, Legend of Zelda, Rad Racer, Top Gun, and Spy Hunter. Somebody said, I'm 27, but I had an NES for my first console. My brother got it for his birthday in '97 with a bunch of games. Well, that's amazing. All right, let's continue. I think we're going to get stuck back. Oh, yeah, we're back here. That's irritating. But you know what? It's done. It's the price I pay for sucking. Will we continue on the Bad Dudes train? See, there we go. We did the super punch there, and somebody fell off this. All right, there we did that. Cannot believe, if I had not missed that jump, we would already be on the next level. So the trains where people can only come at you one way. The power punch that you see me doing now really does just kind of own, because you can kill everybody on one side that comes at you, except those little tiny dudes, which are too low to be hit by the power punch, which I should have thought about before launching it. Here we are. So guys come running in. These are very athletic ninjas. I mean, I guess there's no kind of non-athletic ninja. By the way, I appreciate you all dropping in. So what are your tips? I'm a reasonably terrible streamer. What can I do to improve my streaming game? How can I do it? What do you want from riveting banter from streaming? I'm just curious. First off, perhaps not sucking at the game. That would definitely be an improvement over what you're seeing now. But what else we got here? Let's see. We want that nunchuck. Okay. Now again, it's tactical death. Kill me. Kill me. There we go. Grab the nunchuck. There we go. All right. Strategically chose to die there, so hopefully we'll have a chance against the boss. Oh, you are kidding me. That was some bull. That was some absolute bull there. Notice we're fighting. I love when bosses become ordinary enemies in old games. Like, you're like, yeah, I'm awesome enough now that I can just beat up a boss. He was the boss in the first level. He's not a boss anymore. He's been demoted. He's been demoted because I destroyed him. Man, you know what? Video games have gotten better some ways. They've gotten worse in some ways, but I play this and I'm like, we can do better. Now, if you want to play Bad Dudes versus Dragonninja, and why would you not want to? The arcade version, which is superior to this, is available on Nintendo Switch. You can play it there from, I believe that's one of Johnny Turbo's games. Johnny Turbo went out and grabbed a bunch of Data East licenses and ported them, and I've actually played Bad Dudes all the way through on that one. It has unlimited continues. It's, not going to be especially challenging, but if you want to go back and try it. And also this, for obvious reasons, not an expensive NES cart. Curiously, not a tremendous amount of demand for Bad Dudes versus Dragonninja. Wow, people running in from both sides, and I sure am hitting them in the head. So we're going to get up here to this boss, the swingy guy, in a minute. I'm wondering if next time I may need to pick a more interesting game, because I feel like there's a lot of nostalgia for the stupid, intro screen on this game, and then people just kind of forget that it's just the same thing over and over, and not in a good way. Alright, come on. Got the nunchucks. Hey, we're showing off there. If there's a use for that move, I don't know it, but I have it available. Maybe I can use it when this guy jumps over me in a second. He's probably just going to kill me. Oh, look! A use for the move. We found it! We found a use for the move. We also got punched in the face. Beat this guy up. Run into him and punch. I'm bad! Alright. I always think of this game, I think of early NES games with comical voice effects. And double dribble them. Double dribble! That I remember. We're going to pause here for a second. Read the comments. Let's see. Jared, story time. Give us your sagely wisdom. Let's see. Sagely wisdom, huh? Got my PS1 in the year before PS2 release. Okay, I'll tell you a story. I think I've told this one on Comedy Button before, but I'll tell you about the time I saw a duck fired out of a cannon. How about that? If you guys have heard this already, forgive me. But I had several really weird experiences in my life. I think I've been fortunate to live a kind of an interesting life. I mean, it's mundane and in some ways and really exciting in others. But a lot of it's just bizarre. And one of the weirder things that's happened in my life is I saw a duck fired out of a cannon. I also once saw a naked man struck by lightning. And those two things, weirdly, despite the fact that they happened in different years, happened within 100 yards of the same location, which is also strange. But then again, I'm from a small town in western North Carolina, so I guess that. Well, anyway, I digress. Okay, so Jared's story time. So once upon a time, I was at a summer camp. And myself and my fellow campers went to the same summer camp many years in a row. And at this particular summer camp, they had a Civil War style cannon, what we would refer to, I think, as a 6-pounder. 6-pounder doesn't mean the cannon is 6 pounds. 6-pounder means it's a cannon designed to fire a 6-pound piece of shot. And it's one of those cannons like you see on the big wheels that's designed to be, loaded from the front, right? And every morning they would have reveille and wake us all up, and they'd blow it through these loudspeakers. And then we'd go down and we'd line up in front of the dining hall for the raising of the flag in the morning. But before they'd raise the flag, and this is always some ungodly hour in the morning, we've all been asleep, or all been awake all night anyway, so nobody slept, and it's a bunch of teenagers. And before they raise the flag, they fire off the cannon, and you would watch 400 drowsy teenagers just stand there and jump up, and we kind of hated the cannon. I mean, yes, it's cool to have a cannon you fire off, but every morning just being forced to listen to a cannon go off a few feet away was irritating. So once upon a time, we were out by the lake at the camp, and my friends and I were fooling around, and my friends found there by the lake a dead duck. And once we had the dead duck, what do you do with a dead duck? Well, if you're a smart person, you leave the duck. You just, you don't do anything with a dead animal. But we decided that instead it would be a lot more fun to put the dead duck into the cannon that night. Now, the way a muzzle-loaded cannon works is that you put the powder in first, and you put the shell on top of it, and then that propels the shell out. Obviously, there was no shell with a real cannon. What they fired out was just a big styrofoam ball, um, so that no one would be killed by shrapnel from a cannon blast in the morning, and it was aimed away from us over the lake. So we put the duck kind of in the back behind where the gunpowder would go. Not quite sure what that would do. We knew it wasn't going to break the cannon or anything. And then everybody kind of went to bed. And the next day we got up and got up there. And there might have been some snickering as we waited for the cannon to go off, and we might have been a little more awake than usual. Sure enough, out came the honor guard and the color guard, and they prepared to salute the flag of our fair land. And they loaded the cannon with its powder and styrofoam ball, and then they lit the fuse. And suddenly, several hundred teenagers were covered in flaming feathers that burst forth from the cannon in a majestic promenade of light and color, while at the same time clearly visible to the human eye, a flaming dead duck leapt out of the front of the cannon just behind the styrofoam ball and flew, probably about 50 yards through the air in a graceful arc, smoke trailing out behind it as literally thousands of flaming feathers flew around it and landed on us, and then arced in the utter shocked silence following the cannon blast into the nearby lake, where you could clearly hear it hit the water with a sizzle. So that's not a great story, but that's the story of how I saw a duck fired out of a cannon when I was much, much younger. And there is that. I'm not going to say how culpable I was in any of this. I may have just been anecdotally involved. I might have just been there on the edge of things. I was a good kid. I didn't like getting in trouble. Or it might have been an act of utter and complete rebellion. But there's one story time with Jared, the time I saw the duck fired out of the cannon. So there's a little story for you as we beat up these Dragonninja and take their knives. By the way, this game in Japan called Dragonninja. This game on NES called Bad Dudes. This game in arcades called Bad Dudes versus Dragonninja. Why? I don't know. I don't think anyone's ever cared enough to look it up. Let's see. All right, hopping over that. So there's a bit of a story for you. I think we're getting near the... Bad guys always have caverns. Why is it caves are dangerous and they're dark and scary? Why do bad guys always hang out in caves? You ever wonder? Especially ninjas. Why are all these ninja hanging out in caves? Uh-oh. Oh, this little guy. There we go. We got him. Oh, another one. There we go. We're going to do the weird scrolly thing there while that's happening. Let's see. This needs to be a mode in Super Sports Pocket, and that's amazing. Oh, you guys like the duck story? Thank you for this. So this is what happens if you're one of the few, the proud that hangs out here. This is ReCollection, by the way, which is just something I do, for fun. I do have the Patreon over at patreon.com/JaredPetty. If you want to chip in, that's fine. If not, that's fine too. But this is just one of the kind of fun things I like to do is play these old games and chat every now and then. I never really considered streaming to be a calling for me. The people I know that are good at it are so good, And I'm going to run out of time. Well, that's what I get for rushing. I say I'm going to run out of time, and then I die. Okay, so only got the knife here. All right, Oh, that was unfortunate. Get this jumpy guy. Oh, see, this is what you don't want to do. Oh, no, I'm going to die so bad. Oh, no, I'm making terrible choices. Terrible choices. Must eat Coke. There we go. All right. Oh, it's Stickman. He's Spinny Stickman. All right, so Spinny Stickman is annoying because he just does that. And we're on our last continue. Do we really want to do our last continue? I mean, do we want to watch me go through that cave again? I don't know if that's exciting for anybody there to watch me just wander through one more cave, but we do have one final shot. What's the word, guys? Do I go on into the cave? Are we going back or not? What do you say? Love to know. Love to know. Somebody let me know if we're moving ahead here or not. Let's see. No one is commanding me. This is your chance to rule over me. Your chance to decide my fate. According to this, there is someone in the room, and I'm not just preaching to the void. Oh, okay. There we go. Retro says go for it. Here we go. Final shot. I'm going to die. I should have gone. There's a code to get a bunch of lives. I screwed up entering it. Again, my streams are sloppy. They are not well-prepared masterpieces where I showcase my skills with a particular video game. All right, we're gonna operate on the walk to the right and kill stuff theory this time. Oh, and of course that dog waits till I turn my back. Jerk dog. I don't like hitting the dogs, but that dog, he had it coming. Look at me just losing so bad. Now I'm gonna hit the nunchucks when I've got like half my life. Man, I am just pathetic. Hey, look at that. I can jump too. You forgot about that, didn't you? I can jump also. Alright. For some reason, there's this thing where you have to kill guys that come in from the left. You can do it. Do it. Go for it, Nick. Go for it. Alright, there we go. You can do it. Alright, off we go. Can we finish these guys off? I don't think so. Spinny Stickman is irritating. He's kind of a cheat boss. There might be a more efficient way to kill Spinny Stickman, but I've forgotten about it. Spinny Stickman, not Skinny. Skinny Stickman is his cousin. These guys, like, they're really enthusiastic. They like to do, like, the Legend of Zelda. Oh, man, Zelda 2, that's what I should play, because that game I can own. Yeah, there needs to be a Zelda 2 stream at some point. Maybe we'll just play the whole game in one sitting. Because that's a game that I can rock, and that is a hard freaking game. But you put me in the right situation with Zelda 2, and I will do some reasonably impressive gameplay. That is a game I love. Zelda 2, so maligned, so misunderstood. Absolutely glorious. So people like to talk about things being like the Dark Souls of this or the Dark Souls of that, and it is often silly and tropey and irritating. But Zelda 2 actually does have very specific mechanical similarities to Dark Souls, unlike a lot of those other comparisons you hear. Because like Dark Souls, Zelda 2 is built around a very limited set of moves that, when mastered, can get you through almost any situation so long as you truly master them. In Zelda 2, you have exactly 7 moves available to you in most moments, and we'll talk more in detail about that. And within that move set is the capability to defeat almost every enemy in the game once you've practiced enough. It also focuses largely on obscure and interesting secrets and some non-intuitive, sometimes curiosity-based discovery, and it is like Dark Souls in that as well. So I think the comparison is actually apt there, unlike some other times. Wow, that was just disgraceful. I did not need to. Okay, so the question is, do I want to give up the nunchucks? Yeah, I'm going to die here. Okay, I deliberately die there. Get the knife, which is less effective. Die in the same spot I did last time. So that's what I was trying to do. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible at this game. Maybe I should have kept the nunchucks. I might have made it there with them. Haha! You didn't know I could do that, did you? Spinny stick guy! Let's just stop spinning. Oh wow, that was pokey stick guy there. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hang out on the edge and hit him every time he comes up. Okay, there we go. Can we cheese him to death this way? The key to all NES games is either to jump kick or foot sweep. Look at that. Oh, are we going to do it? Are we just going to hover up here No, he got too smart for us. He had one. No, outthought by the 8-bit AI. Ah, the many variations of impenetrable shield, man. I can show you that. Okay, we're gonna do a Zelda 2 stream. We're just gonna make that happen. And I will be happy to show us Zelda 2. Well, we can use the excellent version that came with the NES Classic for that. That'll be a special recollection. Oh, somebody's talking about the carrier landing in Top Gun. Oh, you were good at landing in Top Gun. Man, I never got good at that. Besides, I don't know how anybody does that. I'm impressed. Oh, yeah, Top Gun's just a nightmare. But yeah, we'll do a Zelda 2 stream one day. That sounds like a lot of fun. Hey, I don't do these regularly, and I just throw them up pell mell and piecemeal. But you guys keep coming to them, showing up and saying nice things, and it does mean a lot to me that you take time to do this. So thank you. And we little Samus, I will indeed do what you asked me to do. Thank you for letting me know that. Friends, you've supported me at Kind of Funny, and you supported me here and through Hot Blip and everything else, and it means a lot to me. Thank you. It's a privilege that people drop by and just say hi for a little bit and talk about video games. So, yeah, we'll do. We're gonna get ready for Zelda 2. We may have to very well just do a series on owning Zelda 2. So, thanks, Britton. Thank you so much. Thanks, Spasad. All right, well, do this again next time. Thank you for watching Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja.